Hi, it's Darnell with Wave Home Recipes. Today, I'm going to be cooking up a little pulled pork in the Emeril Lagasse pressure air fryer. So let's get started on that pulled pork right now. Alright, so for our pulled pork, I've got this boneless half pork butt roast because that's what I was able to get my hands on. And it weighs at about 3.3 pounds. This recipe I'm going to show you using the same amount of other ingredients and the settings that I will describe to you will work for a pork butt up to 8 pounds. But for now I'm going to get this out of the cryo bag and then we'll get started. Alright, so I've got it out of the bag and the other ingredients I have, and as I said, use the same amount of these other ingredients even if you're using up to an 8-pound pork butt roast. Got 1 cup of barbecue sauce. I've got a 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar. I'm using 3/4 cups of water, but if you have apple juice, use apple juice. I'm just using water because I don't have apple juice on hand. Also have some pork rub here. And so the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to cut this pork butt in half. Basically, if you have an 8-pound or 7-pound pork butt roast, cut it into 4 pieces. Basically, you want to cut it down so that each piece is no more than 2 pounds or like maybe 1.5 pounds. So this being a little over 3 pounds, I'm just going to cut it in half. So we're just going to just cut right down the middle like so here. Alright, we got it now cut into a couple pieces. Now I'm going to take my pork rub, and this is just some McCormick pork rub that I have, but use the pork rub of your choice. Just going to basically get it well covered on all sides and all parts with the pork rub. And this is a pork rub I like, but you know, any pork rub that, like I said, you prefer. I really personally do prefer more pork rubs that have more of a sugar base to them. This one is kind of a hickory flavored one. And so, you know, there's lots of different types of pork butt rubs, but the key to me when it comes to pulled pork is getting it nice and tender. No matter what type of pork rub you use, if you get it nice, sorry about that knife falling, but you get it nice and tender, everybody's gonna love it, no matter what type of pork rub you put on it, in my opinion. You can put any rub you want. If it's nice and tender and everybody's chewing good, you're gonna get a lot of compliments no matter which type of pork rub you choose. So don't fret or take a lot of time, in my opinion, worried over which type of rub you're going to use or which brand of rub. So just going to get this other one fully coated. Alright, now getting this other piece of pork in there. I will mention, didn't do any trimming of the fat. Also, if you have pork butts that have the bone in them, you can leave the bone in when you put them in the pot. That's okay if you want to leave the bone on. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to get all my fluids into the pot. So just going to pour my barbecue sauce all over here. And just make sure that I get as much of my 1 cup of barbecue sauce in as I possibly can, because who doesn't like barbecue sauce? So, got that in there. I'm going to pour in my water. So, pouring in my cup of water like so. And my apple cider vinegar, just like that. So all my fluids are in. So now it's time to put the pressure cooker lid onto the Emeril pressure air fryer. And now I've got you in close. And so I'm going to hit the pressure button. And I'm going to spin it to pork, but it really doesn't matter. Basically, sorry about that beeping though, pressing in there. Now, depending on what type of pressure cooker you have, just use high pressure, you know, and you're just gonna set a time. That's all we really care about. And so for this with time, I'm gonna hit the time button and I'm going to set this to 40 minutes. And I'm going to hit the button to start. And let me explain why I did 40 minutes. I did 40 minutes because basically what you want to do for any pork butt roast you use up to 8 pounds, you want to do the weight of the meat times 10 plus 10. So this is about 3-pound pork butt roast times 10, that's 30, plus another 10 is 40. If you had like a 7-pound pork butt roast, that'd be 7 times 10 would be 70, plus another 10 would be 80 minutes. But basically that's how you do your calculation, no matter your size. And you're gonna do a 20-minute natural release after that, and then you pull whatever remaining pressure is left after the 20-minute natural release. All right, so the cooking time is up. I lost a little track of time, so I gave this a bit longer than 20-minute natural release before getting here to pull the pressure release tab, but give it about 20 minutes natural release. And so mine is already, got no pressure in there, so just going to get my pork corn out. It's been basically on keep warm for a while, so just going to check the temperature, and it's like in the 190s in there, so we know that the pork is very well done. You definitely want to always check the temperature of your meat to make sure that it's fully well cooked. For pulled pork, you definitely want to get over that 190 range so that it's going to be real good for pulling apart and real easy pulling, because you got to get that fat really well rendered down in there. So getting these 2 pieces of pork shoulder out, and now I'm basically going to get this pot cleaned out. All right, so I got the pot wiped out. Going to take this wire rack, set it in there. Now I'm going to take the pork, and since these are 2 smaller pieces, they both may be able to go in at the same time. Depending on how many pieces you have, you're not going to be able to do that, but for this I can get both in at the same time. You basically want to do an air fry on these at about 375 for about 5 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead, take my air fry lid here, and going to set it on top. So now I've got you close up. I'm going to press the air fry button. I'm going to turn it down to beef and press it on beef, and that sets a temperature of 375. The time is 25 minutes. I'm only going to use about 5 minutes of that, but I'm going to start that up, let that run, bring you back in a moment. All right, that 5 minutes is up, so I'm going to hit the cancel button and get that air fryer lid off of there. And let's see how this meat looks now that it's had a little bit of time to do a little bit of just a little bit of searing on there. So here we go. We just got a little bit of searing on that meat. That one there, you can see some, pretty good searing on that there. You can sear it as much as you desire. I don't want to, take too much moisture out of the meat doing this air fry phase. So now I'm just going to use these bear claws to basically shred this meat up, chop it up. All right, we've got this meat chopped up pretty good. I'm going to just take a piece here, stick it in the bowl for taste test purposes. And so put that off there. And so there we have our finished pulled pork. Let's do a taste test. All right, so taste testing the pulled pork. Okay, so the pulled pork, I wouldn't say that it has the easiest pull, but the bite is easy. The bite bites through pretty easy, so it's not a hard bite, and so it turned out pretty decent. And doing the pulled pork in a pressure cooker, you're able to knock it out in a whole lot less time than you are in other types of cookers. You know, if you want, maybe you could pressure cook it for another 5 minutes, another 10 minutes. This one was over 3 pounds. So, you know, it's up to you, but this kind of gives you a good starting point and guide for how you might want to go about yours. And so I'll have this recipe in the video description in a written form. Also, if you want a printable form, there'll be a link to a printable form of this recipe. Also, you can always get other recipes for this cooker and others on my blog at superwaveovenrecipes.com. You can always come to this YouTube channel by going to waveovenrecipes.com. You can also find in the video description other ways to help this channel. And also, you can always find me on Twitter and Instagram at waveovenrecipes. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share the video with a friend, leave your comments, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and good eating.